Dear student, today I will discuss protecting the rights of Dalits and Adivasis under confronting marginalization. The Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes Act 1989. This act was framed in 1989 in response to demands made by Dalits and other that the government must take seriously the ill treatment and humiliation Dalit and tribal groups face in an everyday sense. During 1970s and 1980s, in parts of southern India, several strong Dalit groups came into being and asserted their rights. They refused to reform their so-called caste duties and insisted on being treated equally. They refused to follow practices which were based on humiliation and exploitation of Dalits. The powerful castes reacted violently against them in order to indicate the government that untouchability was still being practiced. Dalit groups demanded new laws that would list the various sorts of violence against Dalits and prescribed strict punishment for those who indulge in them. This act contains a very long list of crimes. The act does not only describe terrible crimes but also lets people know what dreadful deeds human beings. The act distinguished several levels of crimes. It lists modes of humiliation that are both physically horrific and morally reprehensible and seeks to punish, force a number of SC or ST to drink or eat any inedible substance, forcibly removes clothes from the person of a member of SC and ST or other, him or her naked or with painted face or body, or commits any similar act which is derogatory to human dignity. It enlists action that Dalits and Adivasis of their meager resources or which force them into performing slave labor. Thus, the act set out to punish anyone who wrongfully occupies or cultivates any land owned by or allotted by to a member, to a SC or a ST, or gets the land allotted to him transferred. The Act recognizes that crimes against Dalit and tribal women are of a specific kind and therefore seeks to penalize anyone who assaults or uses force on any woman belonging to a SC or ST with intent to dishonor her. The 1989 Act is important for another reason. Adivasi activists referred to it to defend their rights to occupy land that was traditionally theirs. This act merely confirms what has already been promised to tribal people in the constitution, that land belonging to tribal people cannot be sold to or bought by non-tribal people. In cases where this has happened, the constitution guarantees the right of tribal people to repossess their land. C.K. Jano is an Adivasi activist. According to the real violators of the rights of tribal people are governments in the various states of India. It is they who allow non-tribal encroachers in the form of timber merchants, paper mills to exploit tribal lands. They forcibly evict tribal people from their traditional homelands, forests. In the process of declaring forests as reserved or as a sanctuary, she has pointed out that in cases where tribals have already been evicted and cannot go back to their lands, they must be compensated. What is the Scheduled Tribe and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers Act? This act was passed in 2006. The introduction to the final act states that this act is meant to undo the historical injustices meted out to forest dwelling populations in not recognizing their rights to hand over the land and resources. This act recognizes their rights to homestead, cultivable and grazing lands, and non-timber forest produce. The Act also mentions that the rights of forest dwellers include conservation of forest and biodiversity.